Hey everyone, so today we have a topic personal branding, how it can impact your life, whether you're a girl, guy, or somebody who is looking to elevate their lifestyle. It can play a vital role when it comes to your day to day life, whether you're looking for a partner, whether you want to find new opportunities, whether you're an entrepreneur, somebody looking for the job. And we have an expert today who is expert in personal branding. So here we have Filipe. Let's dive in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So here's the thing: most people don't get it. The importance of social media in 2025. We are living in an age where people people are not just like trusting in what they see when they meet you in person. They're also checking you out online often. They want to know what you do, what you work with, where you go, and the reality is competition is high. People who are actually creating a digital footprint and showcasing the places that they go, the network they have, the businesses, their accomplishments, they just build more trust. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
If you are a guy and you are smart,
Yeah.
look, you can just hire a VA in the Philippines,
Yeah.
and then you can show them. This is great. You can show them the girls that you like.
Yeah.
They can message 100 girls per day.
Yeah.
If your Instagram is good, you have abundance. That was never possible before.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's the definition of a good Instagram. What
Yeah.
do you call a good Instagram?
A good Instagram should reflect your personality, the places you like to go to,
Yeah,
the hobbies you have,
yeah,
the people who are in your life, your network,
yeah.
and basically your lifestyle. If you're doing for business, that's changing. For business, you also want to constantly show the results of your customer. You want to show your expertise. You want to be talking to your audience,
Yeah.
explaining, answering questions, because that builds authority and that builds credibility. But if you just are interested in networking and dating, then it's mostly showing what your life actually looks like.
Sounds good. So what you're saying that you need to show in a like elegant way on social life that hey, what are you doing? What are your hobbies? What do you bring on the table? So that's kind of you need to summarize, but in a beautiful way, which is appealing to the eyes. So as soon as some girls come to your Instagram, for example, or a guy, and they see like, hey, it's a cool Instagram, they want to connect with you and join you in your life. Yes?
Yeah, it's exactly the point. You meet somebody for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
for 10 minutes. You don't really know much about that person.
Yep.
The best you can have is like the way they talked, the way they presented themselves, which is important. The fashion, those things help. But look, we are in a world with millions of people.
Yeah.
How can you stand out really?
Yeah.
And what I learned is that once you start treating yourself as a brand
Yeah.
and you showcase your life through content, that's how you can stand out. Because now
I
these
see.
people,
I see.
women, men, potential clients,
I see.
they can look you online. And if you're running a business, for example, it's even more important
Yeah.
because they want to know your testimonials, they want to know your clients, they want to go to your website.
True.
So the more you go into the tech, the
Yeah.
more you go into into the tech business,
Yeah.
coaching professionals,
Yeah.
small businesses,
Yeah.
the more they want to see your online presence.
Cool. So let's say I'm a guy who has like a terrible, I'm introvert. I do not have, I post on Instagram some selfies, and I don't have good color grading. And I don't know how to start, where to start. I have some, like a very bad photos on Instagram. So what are the 3 tips you will give me to start with, which can be a, let's say, starting step towards, because I guess it's a long road to build your personal brand, but where can I start with from?
The first step is actually start taking photos of yourself, which is hard
Yeah,
because most guys don't know how to create a basic, simple photo,
yeah,
but you need to start somewhere. So what I would say is make sure you are in the photo.
so we can add some examples on the screen, right? Just to show the example
Yes,
how the
yes.
photos should look like.
Yeah, let's add a couple of examples in the
Yeah.
screen
Okay.
and a couple of IGs so the guys can have an idea
Okay.
about what they should be producing.
Yeah.
and they should start learning like basic composition rules. It shouldn't be rocket science. Couple of buzzwords. Soft lighting. You guys should check that out. Soft lighting, rule of thirds, a little bit of a nice, good looking location.
Yeah.
Try like hotel lobbies to get started.
Yeah.
This is just basics.
I see. I see. So I think I can relate to that because at some point my Instagram was also the same as I asked you, the guy, who doesn't know how to portray themselves as a leader or kind of, personal brand. So it was my journey also. Probably I can share some mine, how I started later. So let's say you start taking nice photos, and I think presets are also important. You have to go to Lightroom, you apply some standard presets to kind of give a monotonous, like a standard elegant vibe. So that's also part of the game, which I learned also. But there's another question also where people ask that, hey, doesn't it sound like we're trying to make an artificial lifestyle on social media? Because some people say like, hey, I want to keep it genuine and I don't want to, take photos of what I'm not. But I guess it's important also. So how do you, balance between to attract people to, portray something you're not, or so what's your theory here?
That's a great question. One of the biggest concerns guys have when they are building their brand is it going to be authentic? Is it going to be what I actually have in my life? Well, I see that as a two-way street. You want to be building a better life. You want to be progressing in your life. You want to be showing that. And you want to be showing that and also working towards that. It's kind of fake until you make it. So you shouldn't be lying, but you shouldn't also be aiming to build that life. So an example is if you're not able to travel yet, you should be aiming to increase your income. You should be aiming to have a better job, a better opportunity, because you do want to have a life. You want to invite people to join.
So what I call it like self-affirmations. So if you don't have what you wish, you should probably start, saying like, people write those things. Hey, I want better life. I want more money. I want a better job. I want to start my own business. So it's the same, I guess, like you take a photos, the life where you want to, go. If you're not there, if you're there, you're a rich guy. Cool, you have Lambos, that's awesome. But if you're not, I guess you can, go to cool places, nice places, cafes, ask your friend, or you take a tripod with you and start, consider it as a self-affirmation, right? Like calling for the future where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Good content and the idea of documenting your journey is fantastic. It becomes a way for you to reaffirm your confidence and to communicate. That's basically communication. Building an online presence is telling the world what your life is about. So it's extremely important to go through your journey, communicating that, documenting each step. And you've touched an interesting point. A lot of guys already have a good life. They drive a good car. They have 3-4 nice vacations. They even have cool hobbies. Maybe they are super adventurous, but they're not just showing. People don't have a way to know it. And you know what's the most needy thing you can do? Walk to somebody and tell them. They don't want to know. That's the irony. But as soon as they look at your IG, boom, it does the work for you.
Wait, okay. So let's say I have good photos, let's say 7, 8, 9 good photos. I guess that's a good way to start. Like you can have a really nice 9 good photos, like 1 stack, 2nd stack, 3rd stack. Now the question is, how do I connect to the people where I want to be going? So what are the tips to go there? Because I posted good photos. Not magically overnight somebody's going to come up, the people I want to track to my profile and start following me, right? So what are your tips there? How do I find out those people or girls or guys who I want, or, to the circle where I want to be?
Right. So you've done the work, you've posted a couple of photos, your presence is there, your page is there. What do I do now? How do I get people to follow me?
Exactly.
How do I actually connect with these people in real life? Because at the end of the day, we all want to connect with them in real life. So here's what you can do. You can start messaging people in Instagram and invite them Not this weird sliding into people's DMs. We're not talking about that here.
Yeah.
We're talking about reaching out to people and inviting them to events.
Yeah.
You want to understand and discover the events happening in your city,
Okay.
and then you want to contact the organizers, also in Instagram, or even LinkedIn. And you want to be telling them, hey, I've got a couple of friends.
Okay.
I have these
Right.
people. And then you want to go to the people you want to have in the party, and you want to tell them, hey, I've got this party to go. I'm organizing, I'm helping.
Yeah.
Invite them. They're going to look at your page and they're going to make a decision.
Yeah, man, you make it sound like very easy,
Mhm.
but the guys like, those don't have good Instagram, they're busy in their tech life, let's
Mhm.
say an IT engineer or like an entrepreneur, a startup guy who's trying to build their company.
Mhm.
They just don't have time, and like they're mostly introvert as well,
Mhm.
and like it takes a lot of balls and communication skills, to go to somebody, tell them, hey, this is what I do, and like maybe slide into somebody's DM. You need like a lot of time. So how do people work on their communication? So they can be the guy who has a cool Instagram, but the personality also says the same. They can go to somebody, talk as well,
Mhm.
and invite them to their personal, maybe some event.
Mhm, mhm. I guess your question is, okay, I have nice content.
Yeah,
It looks good,
yeah.
but how do I actually?
I mean, now I know the audience as well. Like you said, I can join some, meetups, or I
Mhm.
can go to some conferences. And let's say I found a nice girl, I found a nice guy who I want to connect with, but how do I talk to them? It takes a
Right.
lot of balls, I think, and courage.
Right. So yeah, the thing is practice. You want to be going out and you want to be practicing approaching people.
Okay.
It's going to be hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not an easy
Yeah.
task, but it pays off. So you want to go to the events. You want to go to out to bars, clubs, restaurants. You want to learn a little bit of small talk. Just start asking like small questions, like even what time it is, or even giving a compliment about their fashion. Then ask them where they are from, 2 or 3 questions. The key here is try to always talk about them, not about you. And if you feel like there is a vibe,
It's about them.
it's always about them. Talk about them. And if you feel there is a vibe, exchange IGs and then let your IG do the rest of the work.
Cool. Great. So what would be the baby step? Let's say I want to go outside and ask some girl at, hey, or maybe tell her you look good. So what would be the approach? How should be? I mean, it will be abrupt, like I say, girl, and say, hey, you look good. So, it sounds like a cringy, like a creepy guy who wants to probably a serial killer could be. So what would be the baby step a guy could take to talk to a girl? Let's say giving a compliment, how you should, what the distance should be maintained, the eye contact, and etc. Because it has to be a systematic way.
That's a fantastic angle to approach, because in essence, that person is a stranger and you are a stranger to them. And it's normal. We don't just trust people we just met. It doesn't work in that way. So think before even talking to them. Think about your fashion, your grooming. Do you look trustworthy? It's not even about being attractive. Do you look like someone who has a job in the first place? Okay, yes.
That's a good one.
So once you match at least those criteria, then you can say something like, hey, excuse me, I just saw you and I thought your coat looks fantastic. I wish you a good day. And that's it. Just do that. If they engage back with you, if they actually say thanks, oh, I like your shoe, then try to strike a few more questions. And again, it doesn't have to be anything too complicated. You liked them, there was a vibe, exchange Instagrams, and now this person, a guy or girl, doesn't matter. Now you can have them in your IG, which is like a funnel, and you can invite them. It doesn't matter, to a business event, to a party, to your own party, and then you're building your social circle.
Yes, and I mean, if you give somebody a compliment in a nice way, let's say I'm going outside, let's say you have a nice jacket, you're walking in the street, I come to you like, hey, Filipe, your jacket is really nice.
Mhm.
So it's going to make your day as well. So again, it's about them. So you have to make sure what Filipe is trying to say that make them feel, pleasant. It's all about the feelings you left in other person. And then you're connected and then boom, I think, but you have to look like you have a job. That's the main point.
Exactly.
Okay.
The point being, you are somebody who has values, has a life to live,
Yeah.
which does not mean being rich, but do you have like a purpose in your life?
Yeah.
And we all can discover that. It's the journey of self-discovery.
Great. All right. I think that's great. Okay. Now let's talk about, we covered personal branding, Instagram. We talked about, how to connect to people once you have nice photos, how to take photos, and then how to dare or maybe mentally prepare to talk to somebody. You look like randomly or you like somebody. Now let's talk about how in this digital world you put all these things in a place. Let's say I'm an employee or like somebody who's looking for a job. I'm somebody who's looking to make a startup and starting my own business. So how could I put all these factors, my personal branding, connecting with cool people I want to connect to, and then developing my communication skills? How could all these things play a great role in getting a nice job and starting my own business?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting angle to approach as well, which is how does your brand now help you in business, in networking, in getting a job? Yeah. So you want to also take these concepts of content creation and branding into other areas of your life. If it's business, you want to, for example, not only have an Instagram, but also have a website. Also have a LinkedIn page that's branded. Because if people want to do business with you, your Instagram, depending on the type of business, your Instagram can help. But especially when you go in the tech area, into providing consulting, things like that, it's essential to have a website where people can see your portfolio, where they can build credibility, especially in the corporate world. Because IG is good for lifestyle in certain types of businesses. Build your presence there, but also build a website. So one example is if you are a tech specialist, if you provide digital marketing services, or even if you are a store, you also want to have a website.
Great. So let's say, I guess LinkedIn is the place for catching and connecting with cool guys and girls. Instagram is the place, and for getting a nice job, landing a nice job, and starting a business, connecting with the like-minded people. LinkedIn is the place. So how do I build a personal brand on LinkedIn?
In LinkedIn, one of the best ways to build a brand is to, first of all, start picking the topics you want to talk about. Because one of the mistakes people make is they start talking and writing about 5, 6, 7 different topics. You want to pick 1 to 2 topics, maybe 3, and you want to make sure your content always circles back to that topic. So if you're talking about negotiation, that's one of the services I provide. I coach companies and individuals how to negotiate. You look at my content, my posts, they're always talking about tactics, offering hints, tips, telling stories of clients or my stories. So it builds this authority over time. Second thing is you want to also post photos of you in LinkedIn.
Okay, so I can post photos on LinkedIn as well of myself?
That makes a difference. People want to know who you are, how you look like, the places you go. Of course, you want to use professional pictures that portray you in professional settings. You can eventually show something more lifestyle in a car or with family members. It also shows your relatable side that you are a human being. But people want to know.